In 1930, a team of mountaineers carried 6 tons of equipment to heights where planes couldn't fly, all while shooting 14,000 meters of film and making groundbreaking geological discoveries. Their story completely changes what we thought was possible in early mountain exploration.
The sheer ambition of the International Himalayan expedition is mind-boggling when you consider they were operating without any modern technology or equipment.
What's fascinating is how they managed the logistics. 350 porter loads split into 3 groups. Though the expedition leader later admitted this was probably a mistake. They should have moved as one massive team.
The way they handled crisis moments really shows their resourcefulness. At one point, they were 15 days from their nearest supply with only 1 day's worth of food remaining.
And they were dealing with one of the snowiest springs on record, at the Kangla Pass, over 16,000 feet high. They only had 240 pairs of snow goggles for more than 300 porters. Some were even attempting to cross barefoot.
That really highlights the human element of these expeditions, doesn't it? How did they manage to keep morale up under such challenging conditions?
Well, what's interesting is that even after losing one of their best climbers, Chetan, to an avalanche during their attempt on Kangchenjunga, the porters actually wanted to continue. They were petitioning the expedition leader's wife to convince him to keep trying that route.
The leadership decisions throughout the expedition really shaped its outcome. Professor Dyrenfurth had to balance risk versus reward while managing expectations back home.
Speaking of discoveries, they found something absolutely remarkable. Parts of these massive peaks were actually made of chalk from ancient seabeds. They were literally climbing on what used to be ocean floor.
And their observations about climate patterns were ahead of their time. They noted how the Himalayas were blocking monsoon rains and contributing to Central Asia's increasing dryness.
Despite not reaching Kangchenjunga's summit, they achieved something unprecedented, climbing 4 peaks over 23,000 feet. The most impressive was Jonsong Peak at 24,473 feet, where 6 climbers reached the summit.
The international composition makes it even more remarkable. 5 Germans, 3 Englishmen, 2 Swiss, and 1 Austrian, working together just a decade after World War I.
You know what's particularly impressive? Professor Dyrenfurth himself made it to Jonsong's summit at age 44. They had to navigate ice ridges and rock faces comparable to the Matterhorn, but at much higher altitudes.
The technical achievements were remarkable for 1930. They shot 6,000 photographs and created detailed maps of previously unsurveyed regions.
They also made this fascinating discovery about how these mountains formed. They found evidence that Everest and Kangchenjunga are still being pushed upward by tectonic forces, rising perhaps an inch or 2 each year.
The modern relevance of their observations is striking. Their notes about changing climate patterns and glacial movements are valuable data points for today's scientists.
And they discovered what they called the False Nepal Gap, a previously unknown pass between Nepal and Sikkim. These kinds of discoveries were crucial for understanding the region's geography and planning future expeditions.
The physical challenges they faced were extraordinary, breaking trail through chest-deep snow, even their ski equipment becoming problematic when they broke through the crust.
The expedition's end was particularly poetic. As they descended through rhododendron forests in the monsoon rain, Dyrenfurth wrote that anyone who has wrestled with these peaks must dream of them for the rest of their days.
That really captures something essential about these early expeditions. They weren't just about reaching summits, but pushing the boundaries of human experience and understanding.
Their legacy continues today through the maps they created, the routes they pioneered, and their scientific observations. They showed that successful expeditions aren't just about reaching the highest point, they're about advancing our collective knowledge of these magnificent mountains.
Looking back, their achievements seem even more impressive considering they accomplished all this without proper weather forecasts, GPS, or modern climbing equipment.
And perhaps their most enduring legacy was demonstrating how international cooperation could achieve great things, even in an era of growing global tensions. They showed how mountains can bring people together across national and cultural boundaries in pursuit of common goals.